Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna draw a portrait and color it with my color pencils. I saw a video from Chris Hong, and every time I watch a video of hers I'm so inspired to draw, so that's what happened. I'm starting with a light colored pencil for the sketch, but I wasn't sure if it was showing up in the camera, so I switched for a darker one. And I'm just blocking out the shapes that I'm gonna use and the shadows I see. I'm focusing on the big shapes, like you can see the hair is just a big abstract shape. I'm not gonna focus on the details. I'm blocking the features of the face, and I'm trying to make the distances between them right, even though I don't try to draw exactly the same with the reference. I usually don't try so much to cut the likeness of a face from a random reference. I'm just using the reference to see how the light interacts with the face and the different features of a person, but I'm not really obsessing over making the picture look the same with my drawing. I'm not really into that. I just try to put the features that I see, kind of, and to get started with the coloring process. That's my process usually. I think that reference pictures are just a tool to help you, not something that you have to replicate exactly. Unless you're working on a commission or something like that and you have to capture the likeness of someone. And it can be a good practice, but I don't feel like doing it all the time. I usually like to just have something to start my drawing with. Here I'm just blocking the shadow shapes and I'm filling them with a random color just to have something to distinguish them from the light shapes. I'm lightly passing it with a kneaded eraser to erase it slightly, but so I can still see it. I didn't want the orange to be so dominant in the whole piece, so I just dialed it back a little bit. And I'm starting darkening more the shadow shapes. This drawing took me about 2 hours to finish, and drawing with pencils is very time consuming. and I'm establishing a local color to all the shapes now, like putting a first color down. It's not gonna be the end color, but I'm just filling all the shapes so I can slowly work the contrast between the light and the dark parts. So by putting a color down, I can see where can I get darker, where should I be lighter. And I'm sharpening again some of the features because they're getting lost. I don't have a specific reason why I put a color down. You'll see later too that I just grab a color that I think is gonna fit the vibe of the drawing, and I just put it down. If it doesn't look so good, you can just put another color on top of it. You just have to start light and you keep adding colors and colors on top. If you're very subtle with your colors, you can manage to layer many hues, and I think it adds interest to a drawing when it's not just one color down. I really like using multiple colors and very subtle ones. I think it makes it a lot more interesting. And I like to experiment and see what colors go together and how you can use them, what vibe each color gives you. By the way, that big circle behind your head is a hat. I'm just not gonna touch that needle at the very end, so if you were wondering what it was. And in this video I was using a different camera angle, so I don't know if it really works so good. It really helped me because I didn't have the camera in my way when I was working, but I don't know if it works for you, so let me know if you prefer this camera setting or the previous one, and I'm gonna use the one you prefer in the next video. Even though I think this was better for me overall, but I don't mind having the camera in front of me while I'm drawing. I think sometimes it can make the drawings look a bit wrong and crooked if you don't watch them from right above them, if you're watching them from a slight angle. So you have to check a lot, especially in the sketching process, to make sure that your drawing doesn't look weird and have like a weird angle or something. I think you know what I mean. Adding some rosiness because I think right now it doesn't look it looks a bit cold. I don't know how to explain it. I like the warmth that the reference picture had because the girl was looking at the sun, so it was a very sunny photo. And I really like the nostrils. I know it's weird, but I really like that I kept them very saturated and not so dark. I mean, you can see they're red, and that's what happens when the light hits you in areas such as your hands or nostrils or ears. The light goes through these areas and you can see them, they're very saturated, and I really like when that happens. So I was really happy that I was able to catch it here. Like, do you ever pick a reference just for just a tiny little detail that you want to draw? Like, for example, here the nostril thing. I just drew a whole portrait that took me 2 hours to color just for the nostril. It wasn't just for the nostril, but you know what I mean. It's like little details that make you draw something, and it's super weird, but that's what inspires you to draw something. For me, I don't know about you. I think for this one, I didn't do a great job with the sketching part. It's not my favorite sketch-wise, but I really like the way that I colored it. I really like how colorful and saturated it is. And I really like working with color pencils for that reason, because you can have so many colors in one piece. With markers, sometimes I'm afraid to add more colors because it's not so easy to have them really subtle. It's sometimes the color are too dark, especially with cheaper markers that I have, like Ohuhu's. The colors are too dark and you are not able to add subtle hues. But with pencil, it's really easy to do that. The downside with pencil is it takes too long to draw to fill one area of color. You have to pass the same area multiple times to have a solid color down. That's why I don't usually prefer to draw with colored pencils, because I like being quick with my drawings. But whenever I say, okay, today I'm gonna draw with colored pencils, I really enjoy it. Even though sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm bored to fill this whole shape out. But I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy the result too. Finally getting around to with the hair, darken it up a little bit. Again, adding a bunch of different colors that I've used throughout the piece. Like here I was using blue on the hair, green, yellow, whatever. I'm using lots and lots of colors. I'm just adding a bit of a detail with the flyaways again, and darkening the darkest shadows. I'm not paying much attention to the hair usually. I prefer to concentrate on the face and not whatever is around it. and I'm starting to work on the cert, and this took me a lot of time. I didn't know what I wanted to do with the cert, and I just threw a bunch of colors together and just kept putting whatever it felt right down, and it took me a long time, and I don't think I kept all the footage in because I thought it was kind of boring to watch all of this. I thought it looked really bad, but now that I'm seeing it on the footage, it's whatever, I don't know. But at that time I was like, oh, this is a disaster. It's the worst thing I've drawn. But it's nothing like that, it's fine, I guess. And I was drinking a coffee, and around the time I just turned and broke my mug. And it was one of my favorite mugs for coffee. I have two favorites for coffee and one for tea. And I broke it, and I was really sad, but I kept working on this drawing just for you. And for the hat, because it was such a big space to fill with colored pencils, I couldn't do it, so I grabbed my markers and filled the whole thing in. So it's a mixed media piece. I was trying to follow the curves of the hat when I was coloring it, so because it would have some patches, because it's such a large space to fill in, but at least I could follow the form of the object, so it's like you can understand the shape of it better, even if it's a bit patchy. You can see that it's the direction that the hat is going. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. And I'm darkening around the spot that is wearing the hat. I'm watching my swatches so I can see what color to use. And I wanted to add some different hues here too with my markers because I wanted to continue the theme from all the piece, from her face and her clothes. I wanted to keep that going, and I'm adding some different colors with markers too. And I'm not worrying so much if it's not that subtle, because the hat is not the main focus of the drawing, and I'm not worried too much. And this is the finished drawing. I hope you like it, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.